NXT TakeOver In Your House was in the theme of the classic In Your House pay-per-views from the 1990s, and you had the show start off with Todd Pettengill, who appeared on the pre-show, and he'd also start the show off. And what he would do is he would host many of the original In Your House pay-per-views in the mid-90s, and he did the video package. And what I thought was really cool was they actually had the old 90s theme music to start it off. So it was like a 90s video package with modern wrestlers. And I remember hearing that 90s video whenever I'd rent WWF tapes from the Attitude Era, or actually 97, 98, maybe even pre-Attitude Era, they'd have that song. I remember hearing that when I was a kid. I used to get me so excited. I remember it was like Undertaker and Kane, they'd have that song playing. I just thought that was so cool. So I loved the video package, and that got me in a good mood. Got me in a great nostalgic mood already, the way they did it. And I just thought that was one of the coolest things. Then we go, and it starts off with Code Orange, a band, and they played the theme song, and I didn't like it. It's not a fan, not my thing. I'm not a huge, death metal guy. I like some heavy metal. It's not a death metal guy, so it's not my thing. So, In Your House starts off, and our first match is a 6-woman tag team match, as I thought this would be the match it would start. Although the match order did surprise me with the way they booked things, but the way they booked it made sense. So, you have Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel González on one team. The heels taking on Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox. As I mentioned in my predictions video, you have in each of them have their own feud. You have Tegan and Dakota, their feud. You have Candice LeRae feuding with Mia Yim. Of course, with both of their men, Candice's husband and I think Mia's boyfriend, Johnny and Keith Lee, they would wrestle later. And then you had the Raquel González and Shotzi Blackheart sort of having their own feud, and it really built to the friction of Dakota Kai and Raquel González. So it was a cool match. And I also want to mention the set. The set looked exactly like the 90s. It was basically the old house was exactly the same, with the garage and the living room and the lights, and you had a really cool house set. I had to mention that. So the match was okay. You have a lot of fans there. They forced some chants, but they made the show more entertaining. You have LeRae and Yim. Candice LeRae tries to avoid Mia Yim. You had some good back and forth. He had a cool spawn on the outside. He had Shotzi Blackheart do a dive on the floor, but it was Raquel González who caught her. And then you had Candice LeRae hit a springboard plancha, and then the big one was Tegan Knox, who does a somersault senton from the top, and it hits only the wrestlers in the Earlier, he had some wrestlers, some of the female wrestlers, they had to sell it as well. They did it a lot. The fans are chanting NXT. This is a fun match. I enjoyed it. Eventually, what happens is Candice LeRae and Mia Yim fight, and they fight away, and they basically fight through the garage, I believe, and they're gone. So then it just becomes 2-on-2. And this is where Tegan Knox finally gets her revenge on Dakota Kai. She'd beaten her once on NXT, but then she lost twice to Dakota. She lost the feud. But what happens is Dakota accidentally hits Raquel González in the head. It's clearly they're going to split those two up. I think Dakota's in some trouble, because if they split her up, they're going to push Raquel González. I can tell they might be Dakota Kai not have much of a future. I don't think so. So you had Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart basically take out Raquel González, and Tegan Knox hits the shiniest wizard onto Dakota Kai, pins her old rival, her old partner, gets her revenge on her friend who destroyed her leg on a TakeOver a few months back, and she finally gets some revenge. She gets her redemption. And I thought that was actually cool for Tegan Knox to get the win here. So the faces win, and then we go to Finn Bálor and Damian Priest. I was just not that into this match. I don't know. This match just didn't get me. I wasn't too high on it. It meant nothing. I felt like this was the kind of match that was not necessary on the show. You could have just done this on NXT TV, and I think this needed to be. And I think they sometimes add too much. I think 5 is enough. I don't think you need 6 matches. I think sometimes NXT does that. I don't know. I can't get excited with Finn. I want to see the Demon. Finn is someone, I like the Demon. I love Demon. I love the Demon King. I don't get to see anymore. I'm just not into this Finn Bálor. It just bores me. He beats Damian Priest. Whatever. It was okay. Damian Priest is a good wrestler. There were some good spots. He did a cool spot with the step in which Priest went back first into the steps, and Bálor took a choke from the top rope before that. So they were really trying to sell this match well. Everyone liked this match more than me. I just thought it was good. I just didn't think it was great. Bálor hits him with the coup de grace, the diving double stomp. He gets the win. He retains the title. Next, we go to the NXT North American title. I believe you have Keith Lee defending his title against Johnny Gargano. So Gargano gets in the ring and he comes through inside the inner house and he has a key, a host key, and he puts it in his tights. And it was pretty funny the way he did it. Then you had Keith Lee come out, and he is a champ, and they have a match. I felt you could have shaved up about 5 minutes here. I thought they went on too long, in my opinion. They're both really good. Johnny Gargano's fantastic, and Keith Lee is a damn good wrestler. I just thought they didn't need to go 20 minutes. I thought they could have been better at 15. I really believe that. They did well. It was started off really slow. You had some parts where just it was not believable Gargano could beat Lee, and Lee would throw him around. And then they trade forearms, and Keith Lee goes for a powerbomb. Gargano is able to get an armbar. They have Keith Lee, who went for the Big Bang Catastrophe earlier in the match. Gargano is able to get out of it. Eventually, he hits a flying tornado DDT on the floor. He has trouble getting him back in the ring, and then what happens is once they go to the floor, Keith Lee hits a big pounce, and I didn't like the way it looked because Gargano jumped too soon, and once Lee hit the pounce, Gargano jumped up too fast and he went through the glass, the pixie glass. And of course there's a break, but it's basically not even really glass. It's what you see in hockey now. It's just really strong plastic. That's what it seems like. And Gargano took a hard bump, but he did jump too high. And then he gets him back. Candice LeRae comes out to distract Keith Lee, but Mia Yim comes out. And I don't know what Mia Yim was wearing, her t-shirt. I don't know what it said, but they start fighting. Mia goes after Candice, and Candice runs away because she's scared of Mia, basically. And then the referee's distracted, and that's where Johnny gets the key, the host key, and he breaks Keith Lee in the eyes, hits him with a DDT. Keith Lee kicks out. Thought that was over. He kept hitting super kicks like 3-4, always getting 2 counts. And then Keith Lee finally hits a spirit bomb. He hits a Big Bang Catastrophe, and Keith Lee retains the title in a hell of a match. I thought this was a great matchup. Really like this. Backlot Brawl, NXT title. This went on 4. So right when this was going on, I thought this was going to go 2 ways. It's going to be like Roddy Piper and Goldust at WrestleMania 12, where it goes on and on. They'll go away, they'll drive off, and then they'll do the Ciampa match, and then they'll come back, and then they'll do the women's match, something like that. It was not that. It was basically everyone's outside. It's like a parking lot brawl. Everyone had their cars. It was like 20 cars, and it's all in a circle. In the ring is a circle. In the circle is a giant wrestling ring landed outdoor, and they each had their own entrance. Gargano, oh my God, I'm making mistakes. Adam Cole came out, and the Velveteen Dream came out, both with their own vehicles. I thought they had a cool matchup here. It was a fun match. It was not really a cinematic match. It was basically done over commentary. You knew the Undisputed Era was going to come out to help Cole, and they did. And the way this was set up, I was so surprised Adam Cole won, because I was thinking for sure they're going to give the title to the Dream. I guess they just put Dream on the main roster, and Cole probably stays in NXT the way they booked this. They had a cool part here. You had an Uber come out, and he had a female voice come inside from the vehicle and ask if they ordered a Uber. No, this did not happen. And you had Dream doing very well here. He was very entertaining. You had Adam Cole use a fire extinguisher earlier in the match. They have a cool sequence when they're fighting, and then there's a big ladder spot. They're both fighting on the ladder, and as they fight on the ladder, Adam Cole takes a bad bump, a back first bump, and he goes crashing through the windshield, and he has a nasty cut on his arm. Even though you know it's fake, it did look really nasty, a nasty cut, and he is there. And then of course there's a huge light flashes into Velveteen Dream's face, and it is the Undisputed Era. It's Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong. I don't know where Kyle O'Reilly is. I think it has something to do with the coronavirus, but he was not there. They start attacking him, and they beat him up for a while. The Velveteen Dream tries to fight back, though, and what happens is Adam Cole is able to start to regain consciousness after the Velveteen Dream throws him off. He basically throws both of them in the trunk of a car, and then what happens is they get back in the ring. Cole makes a comeback, and there's a million chairs in the ring. They fight back. Adam Cole hits a low blow, and they have a cool spot where There's a million chairs in the ring, and he hits a Panama Sunrise, hits a spike pile driver onto the chairs and kills the Velveteen Dream. Adam Cole pins the Velveteen Dream, 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole retains the title. Surprise here, definitely a big surprise. He's still the NXT champion, and he wins the Backlot Raw, and I think Velveteen Dream goes to the main roster next. Yeah, Todd Pettengill spoofed the 1-900 WWE shop. It should have been WWF shop, but it's WWEshop.com now. Next, you had Karrion Kross against Tommaso Ciampa. Karrion Kross gets a cool entrance with Scarlett Bordeaux, who might be the hottest chick in wrestling. Karrion's very lucky. I love the outfit Scarlett's wearing. Ciampa comes out, and this is a squash. This was 6 minutes. There's not much happens. It's just dominance. Karrion Kross kicks Tommaso Ciampa's ass. They had Ciampa get one really cool offense where he hits a draping DDT for a 2 count. But then Kross comes out back and he hits an inverted F5 onto Ciampa, and then he hits the cross jacket, and Ciampa just passes out, and it's over. Karrion Kross just crushes Tommaso Ciampa. Karrion Kross just routed Tommaso Ciampa was the call from Tom Phillips after the match, and that was perfect. That was really well done. It was very effective. They made him look like a monster, and I think him and Scarlett is going to be big things for them in the future. It's a cool win for Karrion Kross, and I'm really happy for the guy. So congratulations to him, and I think he probably should get the title. I think he's going to be champ very soon. This guy's getting a major push here. Main event. Triple threat match for the NXT Women's title. Charlotte Flair defends her title against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, and this was a hell of a matchup. Rhea comes out first, and Io Shirai, and then Charlotte. And Io is a crowd favorite with the people there, and you can tell why. People really like Io. This was a hell of a matchup. This was great. I thought this was fantastic. One thing I have to notice is, okay, I'm going to be an asshole pervert. Charlotte has... her tits were about to pop out, and she always has a big top because her tits are so big. She must have gotten just a mat. Like, I don't know what kind of boob job she got, but her tits are big. She always has a big top. Tonight, she decides to wear a smaller top, and thank you, Charlotte. You can do that every night. I hear people sometimes insult Charlotte. I'm thinking to myself, after seeing her tonight, hey, every single time she did anything, her tits were popping out. Her tits were about to pop out, and I think they did for once. I think she did almost a bridge on Rhea Ripley or a pin, and her tits popped out. But I was just waiting. I was just distracted. I was waiting. Okay, they're going to pop out here. Something's going to happen. She's not pulling up her top. Her top's smaller. That's all I was thinking throughout, like, most of the match, is her tits are popping out. I wanted her to do that figure eight because they probably would. But I had to mention it. I'm sorry. I know I come off... as a pervert there, but that's like I couldn't get out of my mind. I was like, wow, they're actually gonna, like, what's she doing wearing something that small with her size? Like, they're gonna pop. The match was great. It was a fantastic matchup. There was a lot of entertaining parts here. It was great. The coolest spot, without question, was Io Shirai doing just an amazing crossbody from the top of the inner house set onto Rhea and Charlotte. That was just awesome. That was an amazing spot. Crowd went nuts. The people who were there, that was just so cool. I thought that was just, I love that spot. They go back in the ring. They have just a crazy back and forth here. It gets really, really exciting. You had Charlotte had her moments where she could win. Rhea had her moments where she can win. Ripley hitting an amazing, Riptide from Charlotte Flair off the top rope, which was cool. Io Shirai breaks up the 2 count just in the nick of time. Charlotte almost had to kick out. Rhea caught Io Shirai in the prism lock, but Flair broke out. She starts using the kendo stick. She whips them both multiple times, and then she puts Rhea Ripley in the figure eight. Looks like this is over. It's over. Charlotte's going to finish Rhea Ripley. And then, all of a sudden, we see Io Shirai stand up from the top rope after shooting an awesome crossbody from the top. This time she does her signature moonsault. And Charlotte's in the bridge, basically, and Rhea's down. And Rhea is about to tap, but then Io Shirai hits the moonsault onto Rhea Ripley. And she missed her. She only got her head. At the top of her head, at least. She did miss her, but she got it. They sold it well. Io Shirai pins Rhea Ripley. 1, 2, 3. Io Shirai is your new NXT Women's title. She didn't get all of it, but she did get a crazy good moment. I love Io Shirai. Crowd loved her. She was very likable. She's going to be a top star. And I think her and Charlotte will have another match, and she'll beat Charlotte, and Charlotte goes back to the main roster. But they gave the win to Io. They gave her a big signature win. She got the main event victory. She is the NXT Women's Champion. You heard stories of she going back to Japan. I think Kairi saying could be, but I think Io Shirai is clearly staying with the way they book her and giving her this big spot. So Io Shirai, your new NXT Women's Champion. And I thought NXT TakeOver In Your House was very entertaining, and I love the nostalgia because I loved hearing the classic In Your House music and the classic In Your House set. That was cool.